our previous video, we introduced the inference questions, while also discussing the importance of the process called active reading. In this video, we will examine the vocabulary and reference questions, and discuss the importance of improving our overall vocabulary knowledge. Once again, we need to remind you that there are 10 question types on the TOEFL. So in this particular video, we're looking at question types 5 and 6. As we have in the previous videos, we are using the TOEFL Quick Prep download provided to us by ETS. The link to the download can be found at the bottom of the screen. Please make sure you've read and skimmed through the entire reading passage before we continue. So, let's look more carefully at vocabulary question number 5. Now, the first thing we need to recognize that answering questions about vocabulary on the TOEFL involves understanding how words work in context. So, not just the dictionary definitions that we might normally think about, but also how the words function in a particular text. So, let's review once again the difference between academic vocabulary and technical vocabulary. Again, academic vocabulary are those words that can be found across a variety of academic disciplines, especially when reading. So, for example, the word analysis kind of has basically the same meaning in different courses, science, history, and so on, though the actual method of analysis may be different. Technical vocabulary, or also known as terminology, tends to be very specific to a discipline. So, for example, it may have other meanings depending on the context. For example, studying the idea of a bond in chemistry is probably going to be different between the bond that a mother and child might have. Now, why is this important? Well, on the TOEFL, the thing to keep in mind is that vocabulary questions are usually about academic words, not technical ones. So again, you won't necessarily have questions specifically asking about a biological process. However, it is a good idea to know those ideas, because part of the idea of the test is to see what you can learn from reading. So that's the thing we have to keep in mind, is that you will see some technical vocabulary, but the idea of the test is to see if you can learn about it, just like you would do in a freshman level university course. Now, what I generally tell students is it's to your advantage to improve both academic and technical vocabulary. Of course, the TOEFL is mainly designed for high school students who have perhaps just recently studied these issues in school. For adults, it may be a little more difficult because it might have been a while since you studied these concepts. So now looking more specifically at the vocabulary question. First off, vocabulary questions are easy to identify, since they really involve just asking about the meaning of a word or expression. And you can identify them generally with these words in the prompt. The word, blank, is closest in